What's up, everybody? It's Lo, your host, and the rest of the Vols ATB crew back with Brando, Uncle Al, and Drew. Awesome weekend for the BaseVols. Once again, they were regular season SEC champs, and then they also won the SEC tournament. So just absolutely dominant performance. Um, Brando is going to kick us off with them just kicking ass and giving us his first thoughts. I want to apologize real quick if I sound very raspy. I just cannot get it together tonight. So apologies in advance.
Oh, dear Lordy. What a weekend. Last week when we were here, it was us waiting like a whole day because of the whole rain delay and the weather, which was absolutely awful to, start with. But to cap it off, Tennessee went out there, even though it was a 2 a.m. or 3 a.m., they got the job done, beating LSU or Vanderbilt, LSU, Kentucky, and Florida all in a prominence order. I felt like that was a very nice order as a Vols fan of taking down those teams. I feel like that was like the best path for us. Topping off a crazy season, 53-7 overall, now 25-5 in conference. Crazy historic season. Also making some history. We're the first ever program in history to win a baseball and a basketball conference championship in the same year, which I thought was like a really cool stat. But all in all, just crazy. All the games were really close. And then, in the final score, it was like 12-2 for LSU. Kentucky, like I was kind of nervous there with Burns and everything. And then we blew them out. And then Florida to top it off. That was a crazy game. Shout out to Drew Gilbert getting the job done. I can't believe that you would walk and try to sacrifice a walk just to pitch to Drew Gilbert. That was the biggest mistake that Florida made that day. But all in all, happy to see the wins. Happy to see Tony V emotional. And now we just look forward to regionals. It's going to be a crazy path.
Yeah, I mean, that was a fantastic performance this tournament. Averaged 10 runs the entire time during tournament play. And, it's crazy. It seemed like even during, the Florida game and the Kentucky games, there was never any doubt whatsoever that, like, we weren't going to pull away. And, obviously we did. But, I mean, Drew Gilbert got the, SEC tournament MVP. One of the craziest stats I think that I've ever seen for any sport was that Tennessee this year has more home runs than runs allowed, which is like mind-blowing. I mean, we have more homers than runs that we've given up the entire season, and we probably will likely have that very same stat by the end of the year when we do win the national championship, of course. But unbelievable season. It just keeps on getting better. It's hard to believe that we're at the very end of it, but got the number 1 overall seed for the first time ever, which is huge. Speaks volumes for Tony V, speaks volumes for the program at where it's at right now. And, I'm very excited about Friday's game against Alabama State.
So I'm gonna do my disservice right quick and say that I only watched one game, and it was the Kentucky game. Reason being, I had full faith. I know. I'm sorry, Drew. I'm sorry. I had full faith in these boys to beat Vandy, LSU, and then once I got to Kentucky, I will say I did get a little nervous just because of what happened during the season. Because I also, like I said, again, I didn't get to watch that series either. But so I knew that it was about to get real with them, and so I was like, all right, let me tune in. And so nerves started setting in about 7th inning when it was still 2s. And then what an offensive explosion by them boys to just put 10 on them real quick and go up 12-2. I mean, that it the best way to say it is the way Drew says it is just send them back to the dang coal mines. And there's nothing more enjoyable than just seeing Kentucky fans upset. Yeah, tell them. Come on, tell them.
Get back in those coal mines, you yokels.
Come on, tell them. But yeah,
get back in that coal mine.
That was the biggest thing for me is that we avenged our only series loss this season. We did it in good fashion. And then, like you were saying, Brando, we get to Florida. We're up 7-0. We finished 8-5, which we could have blanked them. We really could have put it on them. But I mean, how mad can you be when you win a championship? You know what I'm saying? So, like you said, first program in history to win men's basketball and baseball in the same season. That's pretty big. I think somebody said that in the one academic calendar year, we've had 5 conference championships, 2 baseball, 1 basketball, 1 women's soccer, and I think tennis.
Men's tennis.
Yeah, something. Yeah. So in a year, we've won 5 conference titles. That's big. Just kind of shows you again, like what we was talking about last week with CG, that the Vols are still like on the up and up. We might not be coming back, Drew, because we are back. So time to get rid of that BBS. Time to get some real hope and keep moving on. I had to get my shots in. Come on, I had to.
Oh yeah. After the whole weekend of games, my favorite one was also the Kentucky game, just because it was so close, and I guess I was most concerned about them given us losing, not even that long ago, twice. But they literally, they put out 7 pitchers, and it did not matter whatsoever. We just absolutely killed them. And then our pitchers also threw for 17 strikeouts, which is pretty badass. I was kind of worried in the championship against Florida. I'm not really sure why, but it was just a little closer than I liked. But overall, just like you guys said, a badass weekend. They just did really well. I can't really say much else. It's just impressive how far they've come and how good they look right now. Mind blowing.
Yeah, honestly, I was kind of nervous too, but that Kentucky game, I hate that little thing they do when they were on their on their dugout and they do like that little waving hand thing. That absolutely pissed me off. But to get that revenge win on Kentucky, that felt really good. And then to go and finish the job against Florida, it did kind of get scary with Ben Joyce on the mound there. I feel like he still has to develop a second and third pitch to be like fully successful at this level. But when he's throwing heat out there, he can get the job done for us, and that's kind of what we need. I did like the combo of Beam and Burns, like Burns coming in and relieving on that game. Burns did absolutely incredible to shut that game up when Beam did start getting hit on. That was really nice to see. And then Blade and Dolander being fired up at 2 a.m. against LSU. That game, we have to give him his credit because Chase Dolander has proven time and time again that he might be the best pitcher in the nation. So really happy with our pitching. The bats came alive in the end. And overall, I think we're really set to go into the regionals, and there's no reason why I think we shouldn't win our region, just to be completely honest. So,
Drew, you chiming in?
Oh, one of the two of us. I was just watching because I think my Twitter said the broadcast wasn't available anymore, so I didn't know if that was just my phone or not.
Yes.
Mine's been saying the same thing. I keep closing out of it and then just reopening it, and it fixes itself. But it still says that there's live listeners.
Yeah, it's still live.
Yeah.
Rondon just says it shows up for him. So if it shows up for him, then we're good. So
Ron Cat.
Oh my God.
Rondon.
Ron Big Bang. That's who he is.
Right.
Our tailgates.
Are you guys not nervous at all about facing Campbell this weekend? Maybe.
Can we dive into that? Because everyone obviously saw the tweet that Campbell put out saying the only orange you need to be worrying about, only shade of orange you need to be worried about, whatever, with the whole Campbell thing. But I thought it was really ridiculous and premature of them when they have to go and play probably the second best team in this region in Georgia Tech, who hits absolute bombs. Looking at Campbell, being 58th in the RPI, they have 2 wins against West Virginia and Duke as their best wins, but they're 0 for 6 against teams in the top 25. I just think that they might have, been too early to the gun, and we probably won't even see them. But I really do want them to play and beat Georgia Tech, because not only would that help us, but it would just be great to prove a point to go into the super regions. But, I'm not worried about them at all. I think the team you have to be worried about is obviously Georgia Tech. Like I said, they have guys like their catcher, who's an absolute unit that's been hitting really well. So, and all in all there. But our pitching, I think I'm pretty confident in that. All in all, I just look at these teams and what we've done all year. I know it's historic, but just like with the RPI, and I know RPI doesn't really matter, but when these teams are playing against competition, it's teams that have kind of just won the regional, and then there's Georgia Tech, who they kind of beat 2-1 in the series against a really good Virginia Tech team. So just have to see what we have, but I really feel confident.
So here's my thing is I will say I feel for you, Drew, with the battered ball syndrome right here, because just hear me out. Just hear me out. In our lifetime, where or when have we ever been overwhelming favorites to win something? Honestly.
Women's basketball probably. So
true. Okay, women's basketball, but again, we were led by Pat Summitt, who's been there, done that multiple times. Obviously, she pulled 8 natties, was at one point, she was the first coach ever to 1,000 wins. She was the highest winning coach for a while until she had to retire prematurely. But so aside from that, where like it was like if the Lady Vols are playing, they're winning. That's where we are now. And so part of me is like, yeah, we're the favorites, but like what's going to happen? You know what I'm saying? Like you still have to show up, you still have to play the game. But like Brando said, like I have full confidence in these boys. They've given us nothing but confidence all year. I mean, you lose single digit games in a 60-game season. That is absolutely incredible. Like that is, I mean, not unheard of, but it doesn't happen often. And like Brando said, when these other teams show up against other teams that are higher up in the RPIs, they tend to fold a little bit. Granted, as of late, they're obviously all hot. Georgia Tech is 7-3 in their last 10. Campbell is also 7-3, and Alabama State is 9-1 in their last 10. So the wins are coming, but the Vols are also 34-3 at home and 9-1 in their last 10. With the one loss I think was to Georgia in that last 10. But I mean, again, going back to what Brando said, is like if I'm these other 3 teams, I'm just going to blow smoke all day and talk about how great Tennessee is, how good they are, how good they've been all season. The last thing I'm going to do is try to piss them off. And I think that's what Campbell did by stoking the fire with, this is the only orange that counts. Like, don't piss off the number 1 team in the country. That's the last thing you need to do. So if they play pissed off, they come ready to play, I don't want to see us. I'm sorry. I just don't.
I mean, I think it was expected that they were going to have that. I mean, their colors are orange and black. Like I'm sure I was expecting them to like throw some stupid, corny ass orange joke in there. But they're a good team, dude. Like Zach Neto, their shortstop, is like freaking insane. 15 home runs, 49 RBIs, 398 batting average. He was the Big South Player of the Year this year and last year. I mean, he kind of like, as far as energy goes, he really gives me like the vibes that Drew Gilbert has. Like he's like their Drew Gilbert. And they have a pretty good starting rotation too, especially with Thomas Harrington, who's thrown 109 strikeouts and is 11-2 this year. So they got a better pitching rotation than Georgia Tech does, and that's what killed Georgia Tech this year, is that their bullpen is just hot garbage. I mean, it's just terrible. Now, it helps that they have the best catcher in college baseball and who's likely to be a top 5 overall pick in the MLB draft. But when you don't have any pitching, that's what you need more than anything else, especially in the NCAA tournament. So, like, I mean, I really think we'll wind up playing Campbell. I think they'll beat Georgia Tech. I just think Georgia Tech just doesn't have the pitching power to, maintain with the level of Campbell has. And I agree that, that we should win this, regional with ease. But at the same time, we're public enemy number 1 now, right? So every team that we face is going to give their absolute all, and they're going to play as aggressive as possible to maintain with us. And my biggest fear is that we're going to go in a situation kind of like how Arkansas was last year, where they were dominant the entire year and then they slip up when it's the worst time to slip up and then get knocked out before the World Series. So that's just what I'm nervous of. Maybe, call it BVS. I don't care. It's being realistic. Okay. So this is a good team. We should win, but it's the NCAA tournament. I mean, it's the most unpredictable thing out there.
No.
So my biggest thing is, I get where y'all are jumping to Campbell real quick, but I like to take one game at a time. They have to win 5 to even get past this. So I was just focusing more at our first opponent with Alabama State, and they're 34-23. But when you look back at their opponents, they really didn't play anyone notable. The only one that I saw was fairly reasonably close was Auburn at Auburn, and they lost that game 6-5. So I think we definitely crushed the opener, but I'm not one who likes to think too far into the rest of the weekend, just because it is so hard when you get to this stage. I mean, do I think that we are the number 1 team in the country? Yeah, but at the same time, you can make 1 or 2 errors and it can cost you the game. And if our bats aren't hot, then even if our pitching's good but our bats are not hot, then all it takes is just a couple of hits on the other side and that's it. So, I mean, I don't even care that Campbell said that. I think it probably just lit a fire under our ass and we're like, okay, well, we'll see you when we see you, but whatever. they're not us. That's what I have to say.
I mean, I think y'all are completely right. It's been obvious that Tennessee has some struggles this year running the bases, infield plays, of having infield errors of overthrowing Luke at first, or just having, bad at bats, like when Drew Gilbert hit himself in the foot there in the SEC championship, kind of swinging at things. I think that's definitely something they'll try to clean up here in the coming days leading up to Alabama State. If y'all saw the SEC insider thing in the video floating around, Evan Russell, after they won the title, was like saying, the job's not finished, job's not done. And all these guys that came back from last year to this year's team and getting the SEC title and the regular season title, I know that they want to go out there and win the whole thing. So if these guys can get locked in, fix the little errors, be the best they can be, everyone's going to want to, try to get at them. Like Drew said, everyone's going to try to get a win on them. But I think this team's just so close and dominant that until like the next regionals or super regionals, I think we should be able to hold our own at home. Haven't been beat that much at home. Last game, Alex said, was at Georgia in that last game of the series. So really expect the guys to go out there, use the home field advantage to our advantage, and get the job done.
I did want to say real quick that I did secure tickets for this weekend, but I'm not going to go to that first game. That's not the Vols slot. So if anyone at all is listening and knows someone that just wants to show up early or check that game out, I will literally either give them away or ask like $10 for them, because I'm just not going to go to that first game. So if anyone hears this and is interested, just hit up the page, because I'm going to tan before I go watch the Vols.
Is that first game Campbell and Georgia Tech?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was actually gonna just go ahead and lead into kind of our weekend preview, if y'all was good with that, since that was kind of a good segue.
Yeah.
So how the weekend's gonna play out is game one, Georgia Tech, who is 34-22, 11-11 away, 1-2 in neutral, and like I said earlier, 7-3 in their last 10. They will play Campbell. Campbell is 40-17, 17-6 away, 6-2 neutral, 7-3 in their last 10. So that game will be at noon on Friday. I think on ESPN3, if anybody cares. I know that they don't. Game two, Tennessee versus Alabama State. Tennessee being 53-7, 34-3 at home, 9-1 in their last 10. Alabama State 34-23, 8-16 away, 5-1 neutral, 9-1 in their last 10. That'll be at 6 p.m. on Friday on SEC Network for those interested. Going to Saturday, game three will be our losers game. So loser game one versus loser game two will be at noon on Saturday. Game four is our winners game. Winners game one, game two will play at 7 p.m. on Saturday. Those stations haven't been decided yet. Going to Sunday, game five is winner of game three and loser of game four at 2 p.m. Eastern. Game six is winner of game four and winner of game five at 7 p.m. on Sunday. So that could be the championship game, depending on how things play out. If not, we go to game seven, which will be just a rematch of game six, and that will be at 1 p.m. on Monday. So that's kind of how this weekend is laid out. If we want to go game by game, or if we just kind of want to take our games, our projected games, we can do whatever, but I just wanted to open that up to y'all and also give our listeners kind of a quick little schedule preview.
I'll go ahead and say that I don't think it should go to Monday. I think that the guys should probably be able to get it done Sunday, just win 3 in a row. That's just my full confidence of it. I think you open up against South Alabama on Friday, get a dub there. I personally have Georgia Tech out there playing instead of Campbell. I know a lot of y'all think that Campbell's going to beat Georgia Tech, but I think Georgia Tech's hitting is just too good. I think we meet Georgia Tech, get the job done there. And then after there, that's where my mind gets completely confused of how it works of who we play going forward. But I have no idea. But if it's Campbell or if it's Georgia Tech, whoever wins out of that losers bracket, I still just think that the Vols, if they get the win on the first one, they should be fine. As long as we don't lose one going into Sunday, I don't think we lose twice at all. There's just no way.
Yeah, I mean, I think we win Friday with ease against Alabama State, and there's nothing against Alabama State by any stretch of the imagination, but they're just not a good baseball team. Now, I think Saturday, I think we'll wind up facing Campbell, the fighting Campbells of Campbell County over there, and we'll follow it. But we should. God. It'll be
messed up.
Come on,
Campbell County.
Stop, bro.
If there's any listeners in Campbell County, I'm sorry, but that place blows. I have to say it. But I work there every day, so I would know. But anyway, I think they'll beat Georgia Tech just because I have zero confidence in Georgia Tech's bullpen, and I just think Zach Nito pitching. I just think that they're going to be able to outscore basically Georgia Tech. But I got us playing them on Saturday. We win that game with ease, and whoever we play after that, I don't think it really matters. I think we're advancing the Super Regional anyway.
Facts.
I fully agree with that.
Go ahead. I'll get it at the end.
Okay. Well, I really don't have anything new to offer. I definitely think we beat Alabama State. I'm going to say that we end up playing Campbell second game, but I think we literally just win 3 and don't have to worry about anything. I think we'll be at Super Regionals. But I will say, there's always room for error. Like, you can't get too overconfident, but I just don't see them doing that at this early stage. So I'm just going to go with Vols win it all, and we host next weekend.
Yeah, I saw a graphic today that gave us a 57% chance to win, and actually the closest team after that was Campbell at 25%. So I'm going to say that Campbell does beat Georgia Tech because Georgia Tech also gives up, or they have an ERA of 6.5, where Campbell has one of 4.5. So it's fine if Georgia Tech can put up runs, but they also given up exactly as many as they've putting up. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if Georgia Tech can get stops, then they'll be fine. But Campbell's got bats too, and they're definitely going to put some runs up. So I'm taking Campbell in that game 1. Tennessee cruises against Alabama State. Tennessee cruises against Campbell, and then whoever shows up in that game 6, I think we also take care of. We got to remember that we have the nation's highest, or I guess lowest, nation leading ERA at 2.3, and Campbell is the closest one to us in this region at 4.5. So Drew was saying it in our chat, like this weekend is going to be nothing but like explosive, except for the team that shows up against us, because we're gonna like use our 2.3 ERA on them. But no, I think especially with the way we kind of got cold in the middle of the season, I feel like we hit a little bit of a lull for a second. But putting up 27 against Mississippi State, 18 on Belmont, and then like you said, Brando, we averaged 10 runs the SEC tournament. I don't think we could have had a better time to run into an ERA friendly regional like this to get our bats going, get them confident, and then head into the Super Region, and then hopefully onto the College World Series. But yeah, I also want to say that we just end it game 6 and we move on unscathed. But that's me.
Yeah. One thing we forgot to note also is, like, in the SEC tournament, the Vols didn't trail a single run the whole entire tournament. That was pretty impressive in its own. But I just feel like, Drew, you talked about that one pitcher for Campbell. I forgot his name, something Thompson.
Thomas Harrington.
Thomas Harrington. Yeah. So,
Close enough. Close enough.
Close.
So I just think that after that, you talked about them having an impressive pitching room. I have to disagree. I think that's kind of their only guy there. They'll throw him out there against Georgia Tech, and if they beat Georgia Tech, that'll be the reason why, in my opinion. But I think the only way it gets bad for the Vols is if the pitching does get hit on kind of early, and you'd have to get deep in your rotation into the final part of the regionals. I feel like we should be okay, though. We saw Camden Sewell come out there against Florida, be a Gator killer, go out there and get the job done. So if we do have to go deep, I still think our guys have played better competition and can get the job done. I just don't see the hype around Campbell. I don't think they're that impressive of a team. And I just see it being a Vols, Georgia Tech kind of regional, and then kind of looking ahead to who we have to play over there in the Georgia Southern regional. So other than that, I just have full confidence.
Fair enough, I guess. But I will say this as a hot take, right? Hot take right here. We will face Georgia Southern in the Super Regional.
Oh, yeah.
I think Georgia Southern gets out of that group against Notre Dame and Texas Tech.
Yeah, and I don't want to
play.
Do. I mean, we played Georgia Southern to kick the season off, and we swept them, I believe, too. But to go out there, we stole Chase Dolander from them, so they already hate us to begin with. And then you have to also worry about possibly playing like UNC Greensboro, like you said, Texas Tech, and Notre Dame. I don't want to play those 3 other teams. I kind of want to play a team we know we've already can beat, a team we have a lot of info on and kind of regularly schedule with. I feel like that'd be the best situation for us. And I kind of also think they're the best team in that regional. But if we can go out there and get the job done and sweep them twice, that'd be a great path to Omaha, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. No doubt.
Yeah, to that point, Brando, I pulled up the schedule just for reference. Georgia Southern, we beat them 9-0, 10-3, and 14-0. Granted, that was February 18, 19, and 20. So that is probably a very different team than we saw then. But like you said, you can only feel confident going into a game or a series like that, a super region like that, because we outscored them. What is that? 33-3.
There you go. You almost got it.
That's fine. That's fine with me. If they
a
want
doctor, not a mathematician, bro. Like,
I've always got numbers. But anyways, yeah, I would rather show up against that team because we know what we can do against them. And but yeah,
Notre Dame's a really hot team right now. I don't want to play them at all. Just to be honest.
See, that's what I was gonna ask. I was gonna ask about the other side because I kind of like Low. I was kind of staying in our side, making sure that we dealt with our own business first. But you said it was Notre Dame, Texas Tech, Georgia Southern, and UNCG.
Yeah, UNC Greensboro.
And then is Notre Dame hosting or Tech?
No, it's actually
Southern.
Georgia Southern.
Oh,
so we went out there and swept the team 33-3 that ended up hosting a regional, is what we're saying. Yes.
Not bad.
Not bad. Isn't Florida hosting one too? That's ridiculous.
The boys are good.
I don't know how in the hell Florida's hosting one when like a month and a half ago they were considered not even to make the tournament. So they, like I do have to say that the NCAA like really screwed this up in the sense that they allowed Florida to host a regional, and then NC State, who made it all the way to the ACC title game, gets freaking screwed over again. I mean, I don't
even make it.
I don't feel sorry for a lot of school, but I feel sorry in their case because, man, they have had some awful luck in the sense that their bowl game got canceled because of COVID, supposedly. Or I think it was like UCLA didn't want to show up, so they just canceled it. They had the opportunity. They were in the College World Series and should have been in the national championship last year. And because of COVID, they weren't allowed to play, and they were forced to be, eliminated. I mean, if I was them, I would be up there in Indianapolis with my pitchforks and raising immortal hell. I mean, I really would be. So
I'm taking my pitchfork and going up there.
Do not advocate for in-person ordeals on this show.
It would be a peaceful protest, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Well,
I'm not advocating for violence, but like pitchforks, like you can be angry with a pitchfork. You're not going to attack someone with it.
I was going to say, I did not know.
I highly advise against attacking anyone with pitchforks. So.
I didn't know pitchforks were considered peaceful, but you learn something new every day.
Hey, there's a lot of peaceful tactics. I've learned that over the years. So.
Brando, what you got to say? You've been trying to say something.
To swerve back to our part of the to swerve back to our part of the regional part. I was going to talk about Tennessee's also, with the errors, we've kind of been getting an unfair strike zone. I thought a lot in the SEC tournament. The behind the plate umpiring was kind of like weird and inconsistent. It kind of has been in SEC play. I'm not sure how it works conference wise or who gets assigned going into regionals with it being a mix of teams. But, that place, Lindsey Nelson's going to be absolutely rocking. It's like $300 to get a seat right now online. People are going to be crazy. The legends of Lindsey Nelson will probably pop out. There'll be no empty seats. It's been a year today since Drew Gilbert hit the Grand Slam against Wright State. A lot of people are going to be coming into Knoxville with that same thought in their mind. And I just pray that we don't see something like stupid, like some umpiring behind the plate that tries to like screw it over. Just because Drew talking about pitchforks and being peaceful, it won't be peaceful in Knoxville. Like, let's remember what happened 6 months ago in Knoxville against Ole Miss and everything else in Purdue and Nashville. Let's just,
So what if I told you that Jeff Matzius would be the home umpire for game one?
That's where I was going to take this, but I confirmed it, but Drew took it there anyway.
Hey,
if we get assigned Jeff Matzius in regionals, we're fucked. Like, we're just
pitchforks. Yes.
I was gonna say there was one part of our show a while back, Everyone loves
Good
and
point.
everybody
Good point,
yup,
Peter.
We love Peter.
mustard in your golf ball. But I was going to say there was a time where we were complaining about umpiring not long ago, and I couldn't remember that dude's name. But again,
Nasty is that motherfucker.
let me go ahead and step out and say, please do not follow this man to the airport unless you have a flight that is just so happened to be at the same time. Please do not get physical with him.
That's the thing though. It's like y'all go at me and saying like, oh, we cannot condone, bringing pitchforks to Indianapolis. It's like, fuck that. Like, we've already had our own fans like verbally abusing an umpire on a flight. Like, we're not much better than that. We really aren't.
The Auburn team bus got freaking rammed into on the side of the road after game 1.
Yeah, and I witnessed it. I literally witnessed them get ran into.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell was that? I was like, was this on purpose or what, dude? I had no idea.
Horrendous. It's just.
But see, the history is there, Drew. So that's why I feel like we feel inclined to say something because we're trying to stop it from happening.
We know better. We know better. We know that, like, if we lost in the Super Regional or the College World Series because of a bad call at the plate, we know that there would be mattresses burned on Cumberland Avenue, just like good old 2009 when Kiffin left for USC. There would be pitchforks in Indianapolis.
Why does
there
that
would probably burn Omaha down to the ground. Like, so it's not being unrealistic. It's just facts.
No, it is being realistic. It's absolutely being realistic.
So,
like Kiffin.
Yeah, I mean, so, like, that's why, like, you shouldn't be like, all right, Drew, come on, we cannot be saying that. Like, because we know damn well that's what's going to happen. So, like, why? I mean, the fire's already burning. So, like, telling me to stop is not going to stop it at all. So.
No, that's like throwing gasoline on it. That's what that's doing. But
I mean, it's Benjamin coming in saying, bold of you to assume that we want better than any of that. Ben is a true Vol for life.
Come on, my dog. Like, all right, like, come on. Like, let's be real. We were one of the 102,000 there on that October night throwing golf balls and mustard bottles. Like,
I was there. Hashtag I was there.
I will not be ashamed of my actions. Maybe my family members will be, but I will not. Okay, so I was giving my all that day. So we'll be doing the same thing if we get screwed over.
I walked in with a pom pom stick on my seat, and I walked out without a pom pom stick. So, but
because it was a projectile.
I started like Joe Milton out there. I was fucking.
But I did get thrown, literally. So that was quite a time.
I'm so sad I missed that game. That is probably one of the biggest regrets of last season is that I didn't get to go to that game. I was ready for it, but then school started like the next week or that following Monday, and I don't know. It would not have been good for my health if I had to witness that and then just come back down here and go to school. But
it was the best $40 I've ever spent, easily. Honestly, like, even when we lost that game, that was the most ridiculous thing I've ever attended in my life. And I've been to Oktoberfest 5 times. So,
what the?
I was just so concerned that we weren't even going to get to end it because I'd never seen anything like it, and it just would never stop. And I was like, what am I seriously watching right now? Like, honestly, like, and then our fans were getting in fights with each other for some reason.
It was awesome.
In my section.
Was
I was like, bro,
was so
what are you arguing about? Like, it just got so out of hand.
First Busch Light? Actually, no. So today, Peter, my beverage of the day is Freedom. So, a little Budweiser. I didn't realize that during the summertime that they made these, like, patriotic cans. And this is, like, the most badass thing I've ever seen in my life. So, drinking good old Freeman.
Hold on, let me get
Freedom today.
Put it back up there. So. Put it back up. Beautiful.
Freedom.
Yeah. Black and blue, baby.
Podcast, Freedom Beer.
Freedom Beer.
Ronnie, make the damn
call. Let it ring.
All right, I guess we've kind of covered everything baseball. Do y'all want to recap the Memorial Day football weekend?
Hey, I was going to say, that's all you, Brando Nugs. Let's hear it.
Oh, yeah. Bro, it was so crazy because, like, the reports are coming out that, like, pretty much, like, you could look at every single name on the list. Tennessee's probably in a better spot with everyone on that list than they were beforehand. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to mention literally every single guy, but the buzz coming out of the weekend was really positive. Last night, you had Shadavian Bradley and John Slaughter both being crystal balled by a director of recruiting 24/7 Sports, Steve Wiltfong. That's a 5-star edge rusher over there to go with Caleb Herring if the Vols can pull it off. It would be absolutely ridiculous. And he only came for an unofficial. So to only get your first visit to Tennessee, period, all your friends are there, and it's kind of everything you see as being, and to get that kind of positive buzz from a guy as big as Wiltfong was really great to see. And then you had Chad Simmons, the On3 director of recruiting over there on their On3 site. He put in a prediction for Francis Magoa, the 5-star offensive tackle that's best friends with QB 5-star recruit Nico, who Lorraine over there has been recruiting really hard for us. But other than that, to get 2 predictions for 2 5-stars, Tennessee already having a 5-star quarterback, I think it's safe to say that you can kind of put that over there at kind of over 4 at this point. For last year to not even land, only maybe 1 if you count James Pierce on 3, really no 5-stars, and you're kind of looking at 4 to 5 already for this class, just getting started. That's a huge jump in year 2 for Josh Heupel. And then locking it down on the defensive side of the ball, we all know we need help over there. Tennessee's been getting involved with the 2023 guys and also with some JUCO guys. John Slaughter and Christian Conyer are guys they're making really good strides with. Then on the defensive line, Rodney Garner having really incredible work. 2 top 10 defensive linemen, Tamarian Parker and Hunter Osborne on that side. The Vols are trending for Alabama natives. So to go into Alabama and take 2 top 10 defensive linemen from guys like Nick Saban in this day and age, he's been crying about it for weeks. And to, be the team to go in there and do it, it's not just Texas A&M. Tennessee's benefiting off it too. I just think it was a really, really crazy, crazy weekend. And a top 5 weekend has to be in sight now for Tennessee. Just to get a top 5 recruiting class would be absolutely crazy.
Speaking of crazy weekends, Low ran into somebody this weekend.
That I did. So I was out here in Roane County, of all places, which is where I currently reside. And there's this pretty badass 2-tiered boat over there that someone had rented. And I'd been checking Twitter briefly, and there was some live feeds on there. And so I was like, holy hell, there's no way that would be Nico. And someone comes sprinting over. There's this big crowd of people. Someone comes sprinting over. They're like, oh my God, guess what? Nico's here. And I was like, no way. So I didn't really believe it. So I just casually walked down. Sure enough, there they were. They were having an awesome time. I'm not sure who all else was there. There's 6 of them. But, of course, naturally, I had to get my picture and drop in the Vols ATB pod. So, Nico, if you ever watch this or hear it, please come on. We would absolutely love to have you.
It's cool to see that he's finally one of us getting a Roane County rage in Roane County. It's awesome.
Oh, my God.
Oh, man. I'm telling you, this is the spot out here for the lake days. I'm telling you.
I was going to say, do you think that's where they took him on his visit? And he was like, yeah, this is why I want to come here.
That took him to Watts Bar. That's what I want to bar and he's like, you know what? That's it. I've already made my mind up. I am come to Tennessee because I have made it to Roane County. Yeah, I'm sure that's exactly how it turned out.
That's how it turned out. Wasn't Josh Heupel or Hunter Bedore over there at his doorstep? It was Roane County.
They might have been a little bit concerned if they had him or not. That's why they brought him out here on Monday, just to really seal the deal, make sure that he understood how nice.
I mean, it wasn't necessarily the fact that he could be our first 5-star quarterback in 20 years, or the fact that Heupel's G-Wagon, take photos of it. It was Roane County, Tennessee. I mean, that was what sealed the deal for him. Absolutely. Who wouldn't? I mean, it's a beautiful place, right?
I look forward to hearing him say that when he officially signs. Man, that was what sealed the deal.
No, yeah, that's crazy because that tweet had 137K impressions to end off with, absolutely ridiculous. I think every single member of all Twitter probably saw that, and the replies, they kind of lived up to the expectations. People just being crazy. I thought that was hilarious. But, some of the guys at UT, they better watch their job. Lowe's out here recruiting harder than them. It's crazy to see. But I think all in all, it had to be a really crazy weekend. You had Francis stay there for 3 days. And usually, with the trend so far going on, staying for 3 days, Nico stayed for an extra visit. You have Carnell Tate, who's, about to pop soon, that Tennessee looks to try to land there, 5-star wide receiver. Francis staying for an extra visit, getting the feel, kind of, filling out the coaches. I feel like that's really important for these kids a lot, too. And, you know, to be in the driver's seat to land like 5 or 6 5-stars on both sides of the ball, Rodney Garner doing work, the offensive line looking really, really crazy. Usually you would think like skill guys, like wide receivers or, you know, running backs would be the least of our worries, but it looks like the rest of the class is filling out really nice. And it's kind of like, okay, now we need receivers. Now we need a running back to like, because like, what are we doing? Like, it's like LRB and Garner are recruiting harder than Golish and everybody else. But I think it's about to start filling in really, really nice. And to, you know, to have that kind of traction off a weekend, you know, you made so many moves with like 30 plus guys. That's as best as it can be. So
it's impressive, like how well Gardner's done on the recruiting pitch. You know, I mean, I'd argue that he's been doing better than even when Brian Niedermeyer was here. You know,
I fucking hate this guy.
Hey, he was paying players. He was paying players.
Allegedly.
Yeah, my bad. Just a number 3 from McDonald's. That's all it was.
But no, seriously, though, he's done an amazing job though at like UT in such a short span of time. And I think the one thing that's kind of like that's different though, honestly, about all the other coaches that we've had is that when you hear these recruits talk about Heupel, they talk about like how genuine and like honest and like how real he is. And when's the last time that we've had that? I mean, you know, we had Dooley who, you know, was comparing us to Nazi Germany, you know, and we had Butch Jones who was a used car salesman. And then we had Pruitt in his 6th grade education. I mean, so it's just to finally get things back on track. It's great.
And somebody tweeted a picture of Hype today, and they was like, "Man, this dude just cool as hell." And he was sitting there like, I think it was posted up with Nico and Francis and somebody else. But
Madden,
yeah. I remember seeing pictures of Butch like hanging out with recruits and stuff, and you could just tell that man was just trying way too hard. Like he was absolutely trying to just do the most to like look cool, like you said, Drew, just to be a used car salesman, look like he was like everything, like he was about everything that he was saying, but he probably didn't mean it because he didn't know what he was even saying. And then we had Pruitt, who looked about as awkward as could be when he was posing for pictures, when he was doing anything media related. And again, we all, I'm sorry, I won't say we all. I know that myself, like I got played like a fiddle. Like I was like, yeah, this man is like no nonsense. He don't care about the media. He's a football mind, blah, blah, blah. Man, that narrative
football coach.
That narrative is beat like a dead drum. We got to get that out of here. But like, why can't we have a coach that does both? Like he's genuinely cool. Like you said, people hang out with him and they're like, man, this dude's cool. Like I just want to hang out with him. I want to see like what he's got to say or like what he's going to do, this, that, and the other. And then not only that, but he knows the game. Like obviously we saw what he did in one season when he kind of had just a couple weeks, maybe a little bit over a month to put some stuff together. But I don't know. It's every time we come on here and we talk about recruits for football and stuff, I just get so excited because we always have so much to say. Well, Brando has so much to say, and it is like because of Hype and the coaching tree that he has. Like Drew said, he hit on Gardner. I feel like that man can recruit. Like his name alone recruits for itself because the way that he pumps out NFL draft picks. But I don't know. Like it's truly just fun to watch everything unfold right now. It's great to just hear all the good news that comes out and hear how everything's going. People visit and they're like, man, I really could see myself here. And that's like everybody that shows up on a visit. So I mean, as a school, you really can't hope for much else other than that. So
it's different, man. Like, you know, you got Butch who was having his polo with 3rd buttons up, like I told Goober, like as if he was in 3rd grade. And then you had Jeremy Pruitt where he kind of looked like, you know, one of the characters in Coneheads Dan Aykroyd was in. I mean, like, you know, it's just I don't know. Heupel just seems real, dude. Like Heupel's just big fan of Heupel.
No, absolutely.
Yeah. I am for sure. Like,
go ahead.
Hey now, don't cut me off.
Sorry. I just get excited.
I think this whole staff has so much chemistry in the first. I mean, this is literally going into year 2. I think that's a big reason for why they do so well. Also, it's not just because they're an obvious upgrade with personality and intelligence, because we didn't have those combined in the past. I don't even know how long. But they just get it. They get it. They are not like too old school to the point where we're not active in NIL, but they also are out here making false promises, which is the other flip of the switch that coaches do a lot. So I just feel like they're super real, down to earth, but I also think their chemistry all together is more like what I would consider like a group of bros, like all just vibing instead of just like, I don't know. It just seems like they love their jobs, which is awesome because when you love your job, you tend to want to stay and do the best job you can. So I don't know. I think it's awesome. I think this weekend was great. Like, it just shows how far we really are coming in such a short amount of time. I can't wait. I'm ecstatic.
No, I mean it really is surreal. Like the amount we say this every week, honestly, but I feel like the point still remains that the positivity around us right now is just unbelievable. Like it truly is. Like there hasn't been a time where, at least in our history, that everything has just been like going relatively well for us. Like there's always been a point where it's like, hold on, y'all were doing too well. Let's humble yourselves. Let's drop the news that your coach was cheating and going 3-7, or let's drop the news that your coach had a
allegedly.
We got two of these guys on BBD now, Lou. I don't know what we're gonna do here. This is just awful.
I mean, you talk about
why are we still talking about Jeremy
happiness.
Pruitt?
If we're talking about positive vibes and happiness, are we going to talk about this after the Florida week? I'm just saying. I mean,
yes, we are, Drew, because that is positive. It's going to be positive when we win by at least 2 touchdowns. You heard it here first.
What am I?
I'm about to give CG a nice little DM. Have him
did we not see the tweet earlier that we put in the group chat, Drew? Like we thought this was not a problem anymore. We need.
Dude,
now there's 2 of us. Yes.
The
tables have turned.
Instead of our coverage, I just want that video he sent about Drew just playing.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. We're gonna fucking win, Drew. So why wouldn't we?
Well, did you not see that poll where they have Anthony Richardson as a top 5 quarterback? I'm just saying.
They had Will Levis at number 1.
And Will Levi's jeans was at 4, Drew. Okay, that's fake at that point.
He's a decent quarterback. I will give him credit where it's due. Like, he's the best quarterback they've had since Tim Couch. I mean, like,
if you decent, you not number 4 in the country.
I mean, did you see who's ahead of him? I mean, you got Caleb Williams and Bryce Young. I mean, of course, and C.J. Stroud. They're all first-round draft picks, so it makes sense. I'm just saying, like, this year's going to be a fun year. We're going to have a lot of highs. We're going to have some lows, all right? But I'm just, no pun intended, of course. But
we got one right there.
Yeah, but we have to be realistic here, okay? And we have to accept the fact that this is a possibility that we may lose that game.
I mean,
that's a possibility anytime you show up.
Facts. Like,
Chris
be spitting, though.
Chris coming out with the shot.
Chris do be spitting facts, though.
Really? That seems hard to believe. More than either of the Vanderbilt quarterbacks?
Oh, yeah, that's probably ridiculous. I mean,
they probably don't let them throw.
Yeah, I was going to say,
they had Mikey Wright out there fucking running read option all year, and year 1. Did y'all hear Clark Lee today on SEC Insider? This man said that the goal at Vanderbilt is to not win. Like, it's not to win. I just thought that was absolutely crazy because we're over here talking about, trying to get a top 5 class and get back to relevance and doing whatever we can to do. And there's guys over there saying, like, little bro Vanderbilt, the goal here isn't to win. But I just thought it was really, really a good weekend. I think there's like 5 or 6 names, maybe 7, that could pop coming out of this weekend, mostly on the defensive side of the ball, like Christian Conyers, John Slaughter. Still hard to read a guy like Bryson Sanders over there and from Chattanooga. But I think the sleeper of this weekend probably had to be Will Whitson, 3-star defensive lineman from JUCO, originally 2022, turned 2023. Rodney Garner, he absolutely favors this guy. And I think even though you'll see a lot of dips down at 3-star guys, to see the staff doing these evaluations on guys and getting the players they want is really, really great to see. Kind of a sleeper at Independence, 26 tackles, 6 sacks in 3 games. Had academic issues, but trying to get back. And if we can land him, Garner feels absolutely super high on him to get to the next level. So that was a name I wanted to drop there. But, I mean, we just have to be positive. The things we're doing, absolutely crazy. I think we say every week. It's ridiculous what we're doing, and then we still have Drew and now Alex over here pivoting back to
Oh, for love of
2016.
God.
It's ridiculous
Good
at this
Lord.
point. I have to say it's
I will
absolutely stupid.
at least say this though. At least we don't have that nerd Eli Drinkwitz as our head coach who's saying that I don't like coaching in the SEC. It's difficult. It's hard for me mentally. He literally said that today, guys. Like what loser says that? I mean, I would know what loser, like Jeremy Pruitt and Derek Gill, of course. But
fact checking Drew. Will Levis threw 13 picks. 3 of those came against UT Chattanooga, where they almost lost that game, but their defense won it for him. What are we doing?
I'm not saying that like Kentucky's a better for the love of God, you guys are taking this way completely out of context. He's a good quarterback. I mean, he's not like you're in denial. Like if you're saying that he's not, like he is definitely the style of an NFL quarterback. There's no arguing that. I'm not saying that he's better than Hendon Hooker because I don't think he is, but that is just to say, like, he's still a good quarterback that we will face this year, and so is Anthony Richardson. And if you guys are just not willing to accept that, then, you can go on your rainbow land over there and false reality. Drew. I'm just telling you, just trying to get you guys a little bit down here real quick. I mean, my God.
Kentucky has lost their starting running back possibly for the year for the DUI arrest. Berrien Brown has an alleged gun charge and won't play for them. Their star freshman receiver. Their Alabama freshman receiver transfer, Javon Baker, is not going there anymore. He's going to Georgia Tech. Who is Will Levis going to throw the ball to? If he struggled against Chattanooga, what are we doing?
I don't know. Good quarterbacks make, like wide receivers that were very underrated or not known look great. I mean, Hendon Hooker did that with Cedric Tillman, for God's sake. And if you're going to argue
and
otherwise,
Wan'Dale Robinson is gone. So
okay, well, you know what? I never said that we were losing Kentucky, for God's sake. I mean, I said Florida. I was talking about Florida, not Kentucky. We're beating Kentucky.
That's so elite to surpass us, Drew. Who do they have? Who's going to be the leader for that?
Who's going to be the leader for what?
To try and beat the Vols. Who's the leader? If Will Levis is king.
I mean, it's like we're not losing to Kentucky. Like, I've never said that we were losing. I said
for Florida, if you're going to think that Will Levis is so good.
We know every single year that Florida has one random ass guy or quarterback that no one even heard of that just has a Heisman type night every single year. It was Emory Jones last year. I'm telling you, this year, I'm pretty sure it's going to be Anthony Richardson. It's going to be close. This is going to be the closest Florida game that we've had in years. But I'm just saying, history tells us that even when we have the best teams in our program history, which this team is certainly not, we still find ways to lose to Florida. And if you're going to argue against that, then you're arguing against facts. I mean, it's just that's all I can say.
So I think this is a great spot to throw out there. There was actually a Twitter thing that was talking about Arkansas or Tennessee, which one's going to be the first one back to 10 wins or who has a chance to get back to 10 wins this year. And for the SP+, we talk about it a lot. Drew thinks we're losing to Florida, but it has Tennessee. It has Arkansas having the second hardest SEC schedule, SP+ for ESPN, and then we having the second easiest this year. And looking at our schedule, it obviously is favorable more this year than what we're used to playing, having to be the team that always has to play Bama, Georgia, Florida, all the other games, they kind of are favorable compared to that stretch. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't see Kentucky being a threat. I think Florida has more depth issues than we did under year one under Heupel. And
I never said Kentucky was a threat.
I know. I'm talking about Florida now. I think their depth is just obviously shot. It's going to take Billy Napier a few years, even if he is the coach, to finally do it down there. I think it might take him a few classes to get it done. And I just don't see anyone on the offensive side of the ball, even who AR-15 is going to throw to get the job done in a rowdy Neyland. We got to remember we're playing in Neyland year 2 under Heupel for an offense that's just getting started. I mean, this team's going to have all the momentum going in there. I just don't see us losing to Florida. And the arguments, it's been 5 weeks, Drew. We got to stop, man. Like, our viewers are sick.
Wait,
remotely there.
My group chat.
His nickname's AR-15.
Yes, and probably in this day and age, not a good nickname anymore. Maybe
what a nerd. That's terrible. I will say though, like between us and Arkansas, I still think we'll be the first team to win 10 games, just solely because of the fact that Arkansas has to face Auburn, Ole Miss, Alabama, Texas A&M every single year, and then even Mississippi State, who's mediocre, they are still miles ahead better as the worst team in their division compared to Vanderbilt and South Carolina and Missouri. So I think if there's any, I mean, I think we'll win 10 games first. I mean, obviously that would, of course, would say potentially a couple upsets happening because of that. But I don't think Arkansas is winning 10 games this year. I don't think they are at all. So
honestly, it's kind of crazy thinking about that because, we're like, yeah, we hate seeing Florida, Georgia, Bama every year, but imagine seeing Bama, Auburn, LSU, Mississippi State. Well, Mississippi State at times, but LSU, Auburn, Bama, Ole Miss every season, and then A&M too. Yeah, so I mean, you always forget like how deep the West is because I feel like there's never been a time where I might be wrong in this, but I feel like there's never really been a time that a team has been as down bad in the West as Vandy has ever been. Like, because Vandy's always just
East.
piss poor. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes we really like have an argument of whether or not a high school team could beat Vandy. And like there are
arguments. I mean, East Tennessee State shut them out last year.
Yeah.
What was it? 23. It was 23-3.
I think they shut them out. No, I didn't even know Vanderbilt
kicked a field goal with like
they got
2
a field
seconds
goal on
left.
them. They got a field goal on them at home.
Lame. My lord.
They got a field goal on them at home. Johnson City. Represent. That's what I'm talking about.
That's the thing though. It's like Ole Miss has had some bad teams, like some really, really bad teams in the last 15, 20 years, but nowhere even remotely close as consistently awful as Vanderbilt. I mean, you're talking about Vanderbilt's greatest season ever was a Music City win. Like I think it was like back in 2012 when they finally won 9 games. That's their best record ever. 9-4.
Yeah.
So
9-4.
I hate to bring up Florida again for Drew's sake, but people are making a great point in our YouTube chat. Chris, Richardson's the same guy last year who missed a game, getting hurt, doing a TikTok dance. I think it was actually the Renegade that he was doing, and he was actually literally was out for the game for TikTok dancing. That was the actual reason. And then Ben makes a great
off my team. No shit.
Ben makes a great point. Last year, AR had a 6-5 touchdown interception ratio, sub-60 completion, a QBR of 71. And I agree with Ben in that last statement saying he's not a slam dunk quarterback. This is the same guy that Billy Napier, when he came in, he didn't, AR, he entered the transfer portal and came back. Billy Napier, he was going to lose him. He didn't want him, probably wasn't going to fit in his system. So not having confidence in the guy originally and then bringing him back because you really have nothing, that's the best option for you. I just think that it's going to be a bigger process for them than people think, even though they're not having like sanctions like we did hold them back. I just don't see going in week 4, Neyland, beating Pitt, beating Akron, Ball State, getting the job done and going in there and the offense full blaze. And I don't see why we don't win that Florida game, in my opinion. That's just it's a really good point.
We're supposed to be Georgia State 3 years ago as well. So, I mean, just saying, like, we might find a way to lose regardless. I mean, I'm not trying to be a negative all. You can call me Balls Pigs.
You literally are, though. You want to be. You want to be that guy.
Oh my God.
You want to be him.
No, I don't. That guy's miserable. I mean, he was trying to say that like we're going to be second to last in the East this year. So
that's crazy. I don't know how you actually like live your life and believe that. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to hate on nobody, but I really don't know how you do that.
I'm telling you, it's Pruitt's burner account. I'm more than certain of it. It has to be. There's no one that can be that spiteful of a football program as much as he is with Tennessee.
Well, I will say, as if we're ready to wrap up, there was a question that was posed in the chat. It does kind of go back to baseball. Okay. So if y'all are ready for that, we can. But if not, I wanted to just kind of put that on y'all's radar because he it was Stone Cold Vols. He said it a little bit ago, but I did want to get to it if y'all wanted to talk about that. It was just he says, or he asks, what is y'all's top 8 College World Series predictions? I'll say I'm very ignorant on the rest of the field. But again, like with a team that's been number 1 since mid-March and has put up as like historic numbers as we have, I think I saw something today that was like we are top 10 in 19 different categories covering offense and defense. Mm-hmm. I feel like when you say that, like, yeah, the target's on our back, but like the target's on our back for a reason, and that's because people look at us and they want to beat us because of how dang good we are. I truly don't think it matters. I mean, I feel like whenever we match up with somebody on paper, like we still favor that matchup in any way you cut it. Again, I could be naive. I am. I'm ignorant on the rest of everybody else that's here, but my prediction is we're number one, and people gotta prove to us that we're not by beating us. Until then, my hopes on the Vols. But yeah, I just wanted to open up that conversation to y'all as well.
I see. If I'm not, I wouldn't be able to name 8. Just
Yeah, I'd be.
how difficult the path is. But I'm pretty confident that Tennessee will be in the top 8. I don't know who else though. I mean, if I'm gonna be honest, all I really give a shit about is the Vols. I'll scout other teams like if I have to, or for the sake of
Show up, yeah.
yeah, or if they show up or whatever. But I don't really pay attention to all the other sports because I simply don't have time, or all the other teams anyway. So I think we certainly get there. It's just who we play, I don't know, but hopefully we're ready.
Yeah, I'd be lying if I said that before I just pulled it up on Twitter right now. I knew who any of the other teams were besides our 2 regions of us and Georgia Southern. But kind of looking at this right now on the bottom half of our side, I could definitely see a team like maybe Oregon or Texas A&M kind of getting that final 8 in our division, kind of there on that side. And then on the right hand side of the thing, I kind of do down there at the bottom, you have Oregon State and Vanderbilt that could both kind of be a threat. Both had really good RPIs. Kind of struggled against ranked teams, but did get the job done in their conference. Didn't get to host a regional, but definitely really good teams. On the top half, I could definitely see a team like Oklahoma State or Arkansas trying to get back there. And then you have Maryland, who's been really, really impressive too. I wouldn't be surprised to see like an ACC team sleeper get in there late on the other side, but the out west brackets and regionals, they're really stacked. And I think that Vanderbilt, they have a tough path, but if they can get past there and beat Oregon State, I definitely see one of those 2 teams in the finals.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really say like who will be that top 8 as well because like I'm pretty sure all the teams I'm like predicting are like contradicting themselves because they play each other at some point. But just because it's so complicated, I don't even like. It's just this is such a weird tournament format. But like, I think Vols is a certain. I think it's almost a guarantee that Tennessee will be in there, even though I think we'll have some hiccup games for sure. And it's just because it's inevitable with the tournament. But Virginia Tech, I like Virginia Tech a lot. I think Stanford will be in there too, and I like Oklahoma State beating Arkansas in that regional as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say it is wild that it's like I was trying to explain it to somebody, and then when I was explaining it, I was like, wow, that's kind of eye opening. That it's a tournament of 64 that immediately cuts to 16 in the next round. And it's like there's so many moving parts, there's so many moving pieces that it's and especially being double elim, it's hard to be like, oh yeah, they can get beat, but are they going to get beat like 2 times by either 2 separate teams or that same team that beat them once? But yeah, it's hard to. I feel like it would be more hard to predict what's going to happen in this than it might be in March Madness. Maybe I could that might be a flaming hot take as well. Again, just by how the rounds cut down initially. But yeah, I'm gonna just echo what I was saying earlier. What we've all kind of said is that until somebody beats us, my money's on us. And it's funny being in that position just because it's like we're hardly ever in this position. But I mean, yeah, only 7. We've only dropped 7 games all season, so you have to beat us. I truly don't think that we're really going to beat ourselves. Like you have to show up and you have to play your A game and hope that we're off. And that is a fantastic position for us to be in going into postseason play. So you can't really ask for much more. But yeah, I just wanted to get to that question because Stone Cold was posing it in the chat. But
Facts.
Yeah.
I guess to close out, by the time we come back next week, we'll be done with our regional, and then I'm not sure how the super regional of the Georgia Southern series kind of works and when that schedule will be. But I think we all kind of just agreed there and kind of solidified that we kind of all believe that it's inevitable or unanimous that we make it back to Omaha because we said that we're definitely going to win this week. If we're going to be in the top 8, that's kind of securing a trip to Omaha. And just to get back there 2 years in a row, I feel like that's the hardest thing in general, just making it there. Besides winning the whole thing, if you can make it there, get past the regional and the super regional, that's impressive in itself. And to be in the top 8, Obviously, we're going to win the whole damn thing, but just to get back there after this historic season would be a great part too. So,
100%.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't have said it any better, Brando. Very well said.
you're
All right. Are we done for the evening?
I was gonna say that little vote of confidence right there might be our sign off. That was kind of tough.
yeah. I think we'll be coming back next week. Regional champs in our region. Like I said, I don't know the schedule for the second part, but
I think the way the schedule is, it's like Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So I think it's best of 3. So we only have to win 2 games, I believe. So
yeah. So like it's every weekend. So it'd be like next weekend after this following weekend for the
yeah. So basically, we would start like the Super Regionals start next Saturday. So
period.
Yeah, that's right. Because when we hosted last year, it was a Saturday, Sunday, but we won both, so we didn't have to play Monday.
Yeah, I don't see us playing Monday.
No chance.
Trey Lipscomb. Did y'all see that? Closing it out. Trey Lipscomb, that man got custom cleats. It literally has the fur cat or the faux cur on his cleats, bro. Ridiculous. So
wait.
I just think.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead. Go ahead, finish, Brando. My bad.
Okay, no, I was gonna say if we come back next week and Trey Lipscomb has hit a home run with the fur cleats with the fur coat on, I just think that's a monumental part of this season in itself. So, fully expect to come back next week, be heading to regionals, get the job done, and I think it's the decade of the Vols.
Hey,
that's Pruitt said. Yeah.
No, actually, yeah, I should have said the Philip Fulmer quote. The Vols are back.
Vols are back.
This decade of the Vols right here. All right.
He wasn't wrong. It just wasn't with him.
Exactly.
This wasn't a part of it. But yeah, so regionals are June 3rd to 4th, like we know already. The supers are 10 to 12 or 11 to 13. I guess depending on when your region finishes. And then the World Series would be the 17th to the 26th or 7th, depending on how that shakes out as well. So yeah, so for the first 2 rounds, it'll just be weekend to weekend, and then the World Series will be weekend on. So I guess by next Wednesday we'll be able to do like super region previews and kind of review the stuff from the region and then go from there. But yeah, line it up really well for us. Absolutely.
Watch party, field house for the College World Series. I propose. I think it'd be a great idea. So
I wish I could freaking be there, but it's so hard to plan anything because it's so long. You never know.
Yeah.
I know we might not even be in it. So
right, I know. Like, I mean, let's not get ahead of ourselves, but I don't see how we couldn't be. But yeah, I mean, that'd be cool as hell. I'm probably not going to go to Omaha just because I was looking at shit and it's so expensive and you can't even plan. It's like, that's just kind of crazy. But watch party at Fieldhouse would be pretty dope.
Hell yeah.
All right. I guess we're done.
Yeah.
Everyone, any last thoughts? All right. Make sure make sure one that Lindsey Nielsen is full this weekend. Like, I don't want to see one freaking open seat. It better be full of Vols. 2, I'll be there. I think Brando's going to be coming. So if you
can find seats, I'll be there. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, if you have any word and tickets, let us know. I'll be there. If you see us, come say hi. Don't hate us.
We just want to make a hostile environment.
Yeah. Yeah. But make sure it's rowdy. Make sure you're fun, doing your part.
Might see Low with another 5-star.
And leave your pitchforks this time at home. Leave your pitchforks.
Leave your pitchforks at home and send Kentucky back to the coal mines. That's all we got to say.
Well, we've already done one of those things.
They're already there.
Already there.
All right.
Ain't no days off in the coal mine.
Yeah, another good little show. I've got to go. Like, my computer's dying. So,
yo, sayonara.
Bye. Good night. Go Vols. Hope everyone enjoyed the night.